Let's start with the top story, where India is all set to roll out the red carpet for Russian President Vladimir Putin, who begins a two-day state visit today. His first trip since the Ukraine war began. He will co-chair the 23rd annual India-Russia summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a time when New Delhi is navigating US sanctions pressure and a shifting global order. CNN News 18 has learned that President Putin will arrive on Thursday evening for restricted talks with the Prime Minister at Lok Kalyan Marg, followed by a private dinner. On Friday morning, he will visit Rajghat, receive a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and then hold delegation-level and summit talks at Hyderabad House. The agenda includes geopolitics and major defense deals, additional S-400 systems, a possible S-500, and discussions on the Sukhoi 57 fifth-generation fighter jets. Meanwhile, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will meet his Russian counterpart, who will receive a tri-service Guard of Honour, and an India-Russia business forum will also be addressed by Piyush Goyal and senior Russian officials. Now, renowned author and host of CNN's GPS, Fareed Zakaria, spoke to CNN News 18's Zaka Jacob and says that the United States has historically been understanding of India's long-standing relationship with Russia. But with a new US administration, it has become increasingly difficult to predict Washington's reaction to the Modi-Putin meeting. Let's listen into this conversation.
So Vladimir Putin is going to be here in India on a whirlwind 30-hour trip from Thursday evening till Friday night. Lots of things on the agenda, from defense deals, energy cooperation, and of course extending the breadth of the relationship between India and Russia. Russia has been a long-standing partner for India, particularly when it comes to defense. And in the last few years since the Ukraine war began, India has been importing a lot of Russian oil as well. What do you expect will happen during this visit, and how may this visit, the optics of it, the substance of it, how may this be viewed in Washington and particularly in the White House?
Well, historically, one would have to say that the Americans would be very worried and very upset about it because, as you noted, Zaka, there's been a 25-year bipartisan effort to build a strategic relationship, really a strategic alliance with India, at several fronts, at the level of the economics and business, technology, and defense. And so there would be some consternation, though the United States has been very understanding historically also that India has a long-standing relationship with Russia. And, you know, it lives close by to Russia and China and needs to have relations with these countries. But with the new American administration, what really doesn't know exactly how to predict what its attitude will be, because on the one hand, it is, as you note, quote unquote, punishing India for buying Russian oil, even though India is doing so under a price cap scheme set up by the West, and a lot of that oil is being bought by Europe. On the other hand, Donald Trump is himself very pally with Vladimir Putin and is trying to build a better relationship for the United States with Russia. So I'm not sure on what grounds the Trump administration could be upset with India for having good meetings with Vladimir Putin. After all, Trump's de facto Secretary of State, Steve Witkoff, goes to Moscow regularly to meet with Vladimir Putin and always leaves gushing praise of Putin.
So Witkoff, the special envoy, Mr. Trump's son-in-law, Mr. Kushner, they were in Moscow this week. They had a 5-hour-long meeting with President Putin. There's this new 28-point peace plan that Trump has developed to try and find some kind of a middle ground, a ceasefire in Ukraine. I'm not sure how closer we are to that ceasefire in Ukraine. How much do you think that would be part of the conversation when Modi and Putin meet?
I don't think that will be a central piece of it, because India has tried to essentially stay out of the Ukraine war and to simply not get too involved. I suspect because shall we put it this way, India's heart is in one place and its head is in another. Its heart is with Ukraine, a democracy that is struggling against an autocracy that is the aggressor. On the other hand, India has long-standing relations with Russia, long-standing defense relationship with Russia, and currently is being mistreated by the United States. So there's a kind of realpolitik reason to strengthen the relationship with Russia. So I suspect that the conversation between Modi and Putin will really be about building and strengthening the long ties that India has with Moscow, which is all bad for Washington. It's all bad for America in the sense that the United States was trying to wean India off Russia. It was trying to get India to buy less Russian defense equipment. It was trying to get India to be less integrated with Russia and China in international economic terms and more integrated with the United States. But as I said, this administration, in my opinion, is acting against many of America's strategic interests. It would not seem to me to make sense to be alienating India the way Donald Trump is doing. It is not in America's interest to do that, and yet he's doing it.